All right, everybody, we're back, and let's tackle the remaining 3 problems for this logic game here. Let's go right down the list. 4. If the Newmans live immediately west of the K's, which one of the following statements must be false? All right, we have an if scenario, so let's sketch it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We know K has to be here. And then it says, all right, N lives, and I always get this messed up, west is that way, east is that way. Okay. If the N's live immediately west of the K's, well, that means they have to be right here, right? Which one of the following statements must be false? All right, so we're looking for something. Must be false means contradicts our rules in some way. But before we do that, let's see what we can deduce from this. If N goes here, well, what can we place in here? We know M would have to go this way, right? Because there's only 2 spaces for M, and if we put N in one of them, the only other place for M to go is there, which also then means we have to put P here and L right there. And then, oh man, we could deduce a lot from this. We know R can't be in the first space, so we'd have to put R right there, leaving us with the last piece. O has to go right there. So we have a scenario where it's Ornkumpel. That's what I call it. We have an Ornkumpel scenario. Okay. Okay, so that's a fully filled out map. I mean, these pieces have to go in this particular order. So let's look at this. Which of these would have to be false? O lives next to N. Well, there it is. That's false. O lives next to R. We're done. That wasn't so bad. Okay, you can pause the video if you'd like and look through the remaining answer choices and see why those are not false, but I'm not going to go through those for the sake of time. Okay, I'm going to pause the video for a moment because we have an if scenario, so I want to clear the screen out just for a minute, and then we can play this scenario here. Okay, I'm back. Let's look at this one. If the O's live east of the M's, and we have east and west in this particular order. Okay, which of the following statements must be true? Well, let's just think about this for a second. We know that M has to be either here or there. So if we say O has to be east of them, think about it. No matter where I place M, O has to be somewhere in this last group of 3 here. Well, we also know that this last group of 3 has to contain P and L, right? We have to have those 3 right there. Which means that we can't put M here. We'd have to put M on this spot. Because if I put M over here, I wouldn't have space to put O, P, and L in the remaining 2. So that means I've got to have M over here. Okay? And O, P, and L are going to fill out these spaces here. But I don't know exactly where I can put them because there's lots of different possibilities. I just know that P has to come behind, or to the west of, I should say, L. So I could do, it could be OPL, could be POL, could be PLO. There's at least 3 possibilities there, and I'm not sure. But I can fill out some more over here. I do know that since R and N are the last ones left, R can't go in space number 1, so I'm going to have to put R there, which means N has to go here. Okay, so now let's go down. Which of the following statements must be true? There's no alternative here. Probably not anything that's involving O. Actually, just this is a teachable moment here. Since O and N were free players, right? We're forced to put N over here because R had to go there and so on. But there's nothing really specific about where O has to be in these 3 sections right here. So hold on a second. I have a small child demanding an emergency. Let me pause and see what's going on. All right, I'm back. Just word of advice: never have kids. Yuck. Okay. You don't even want to know. I would tell you, but it would just horrify you. So no. Let's just try to get back on track here. Where were we? Oh yeah. So we had filled out if O, P, and L are east, then they have to be in those spaces here. And my point was, I could just immediately, if I'm looking at this question, or this question stem with these answer choices, I would automatically rule out C, D, and E as being the correct answers, right? Because remember, we were looking for something that had to be true. But we know that O is pretty, free-floating, right? That was one of our least restrictive elements. It could be pretty much anywhere in those 3 slots. So there's really nothing involving O that has to be true. You have to put it in a certain space. So those are probably just out. So I would investigate A and B, because K is pretty restrictive, right? K has to be in one space. So let's see what we got. Let's look at the first thing. K has to be east or to the right of M. Well, actually, there it is. Yeah, it does have to be that, doesn't it? And there's our answer. Yep. Whereas what about B? K's live west of, or to the left of, R's. Well, we know that can't be right, because R, according to our scenario, R has to be over here, which means K would have to be to the east of it, so that's definitely out. But yeah, A, there's no other way for M and K to be, so they have to be right there. So there's our answer. All right, very good. Let me pause and clean out this space here, and we'll do the last question. Okay, so now let's look at this one. 6. If O lives east of K, which one of the following pairs of families must live next to each other? Okay, so let's fill in what we know. We know K has to be on space 4, if this is going from west to east. And then it says if the O's live east of that. Okay, that means, oh, it's kind of like the same scenario in the previous game, right? We know O's got to be, O, P, and L have to be in this space somewhere, right? Which means then M, it's like the same as the previous question. Then M has to be right here. We know R's got to be there. N's got to be here. We're not really certain about where O, P, and L are placed. We have a lot of flexibility there. So I think that's basically, I think we can just with these, the block of 4 right here, we probably can answer the, which of the following pairs of families must live next to each other? Does K have to live next to P? Well, no, because I could put P, pretty much any, there's 3 different ways I could arrange O, P, and L over here. So we don't have to necessarily do that. Does L and O have to be next to each other? Not necessarily, for the same reasons. We can rearrange O, P, and L in several different ways. Does M and N have to be next to each other? Well, clearly not, because M has to be next to R or K. So that's out. What about N and R? Well, there we go. They do. So there's our answer. Right, versus E, what's the last one, just real quickly? O and P. Well, no, again, we don't have to put them right next to each other. There's a scenario that we could play out where they aren't. So we're done. Okay. Again, this was running a little bit long, but hopefully that was helpful. But that is how we would solve these particular questions for the strict sequencing game.